Well, it would seem Wladimir Klitschko is back at his old tricks of fighting bum fighters. So let's go through this one. This isn't really a prediction. This is just my thoughts on the fight. Wladimir Klitschko versus Francesco Pianeta. It's a bad fight. It's in the top 5 mismatches I've seen over the last few years, especially since 2010. Francesco Pianeta, what do we know? 29 fights, 28 wins, 1 draw. That draw against Albert Sosnowski in a fight where a lot of people said Albert could have won that fight. Southpaw, this guy is 6'5" tall, same weight pretty much as Wladimir, 28 years old. That's as good as it gets. Basically, Wladimir is fighting an actual heavyweight, which is a welcome change, to be honest. Let's look at the shortcomings of this guy, Pianeta. Anyone who's ever hurt, worried, or beat Wladimir Klitschko has been a huge hitter. Let's look at some. Ross Purity, 131, 27 of which by way of knockout. Corey Sanders, the southpaw, 142, 31 of which by way of knockout. Layman Brewster, 135, 30 of which by way of knockout. They all have in common that they're big punchers. Let's look at Pianeta. He also is a southpaw. Think about Cody Sanders. Right, this guy has 28 wins, only 15 of which by way of knockout. Right, this guy is not in the same league in terms of punching than any of these guys. Okay, but records, they don't always show the bigger picture. Let's see if he's actually fought some decent opposition. Let me stop you right there. He hasn't. He's took people like Albert Sosnowski, Oliver McCall, Franz Bofer, Paulo Ferreira twice. The distance, this guy is not a good fighter. He's not a good puncher either. Right, he's basically raided the old people home for these guys. Let's look at the speed, movement and boxing ability. If you've not got power, let's hope you're quick, nimble, slick, able to evade the jab, able to frustrate Wladimir for a number of rounds, and hope the referee doesn't allow him to foul you. That's not going to be the case here. This guy, like I said, 6'5", same weight as Wladimir. He's not as mobile as Wladimir. He's not as slick as Wladimir or David Haye, or as quick as David Haye, or as quick as Eddie Chambers. He doesn't hold those attributes. Okay, this guy is more along the lines of Marius Walk than he is any of those other guys. You see, he's also had competitive decisions with these guys, Johan Duapas, Albert Sosnowski and Scott Gamma. Wladimir Klitschko would not have competitive fights with these guys. I think he could do them all on the same night within 6 rounds. Okay? Now let's point out, this is nothing new from Wladimir. Wladimir, when you sign a contract with Wladimir, you're basically selling your soul to the devil. You have to fight Wladimir. If you beat him, you have to fight Vitali. If you beat him, you have to fight Wladimir again. Okay? And then your next 2 fights, you're fighting under K2. So you've got to fight 3 fights before you then have to fight under K2 and give most of your money to the Klitschkos anyway. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why Wladimir can't get a good fight, because he has slave contracts. Okay? That's why no one likes fighting under K2. That's why Marius Walk tried every trick in the book to get the fight called off, so we didn't have to fight 1 Wladimir, 2 Vitali, 3 Wladimir again, and then the next 2 guys he'll fight under K2. Stupidness, right? Let's look at some of the guys he's been fighting over the last few years. Okay? Obviously, we know we raided the old person's home for Tony Thompson twice. Okay? He knocked him out twice in 6. Right? No, he knocked him out once in 12 and 11. The second time in 6. Marius Walk survived the distance but took a kicking of a lifetime. Okay? Let's look at the other guys. Okay? Sam Peter fought him twice. Very small, very fat, very one-dimensional, one-trick pony. And in one of the fights he had with him, he gave Wladimir a very tough fight. That doesn't look good for you, Wladimir. But still, stupidness, right? Next guy, Chris Baird. Let's look at that. Chris Baird beat Vitali, don't forget. Had to fight Wladimir straight afterwards. Fought him twice, right? And he's won twice. This is Wladimir. And now, don't forget, this guy is an extremely small heavyweight who has fought once No, fought twice as a light heavyweight and fought twice as a cruiserweight and also as a super middleweight, right? So he's been as far down as 168, okay? And he fought the Klitschko's 3 times. Just remember that, okay? Just stupidness. Not Albert Sosnowski. Chagayev, Ruslan Chagayev, 5'11". I'm taller than him. He gave away £20 to Wladimir in a fight that he was never going to be able to win or even be competitive in. It was just obvious. Eddie Chambers, 6'1", gave away £35 to Wladimir and is now fighting a cruiserweight. Okay? Just remember that. David Hay, former cruiserweight, 6'2", gave away £30 to Wladimir. Jean-Marc Mormec, 5'11", former cruiserweight, gave away £32 and did absolutely nothing in that fight except hit the canvas. So if you look at all of these guys he's been fighting, except for 2 people over the last few years, he's fought basically everyone's got to be either old or they've got to be former cruiserweights. Why is it he's only fighting those guys? Are you telling me there's no real heavyweights around anymore? Because there are, you know. I mean, I tell you there are. You know, let's look at some of the guys he could be fighting instead of Pianeta, okay? Let's look at Kubrat Pulev. Was supposed to be fighting Adamek. He's not fighting Adamek. Was a free agent. Then Wladimir decided to sign with Pianeta. Instead, Pulev was available. He instead didn't fight Pulev, who's going to be his mandatory anyway, and fought Pianeta, okay? So he's not fighting his mandatory, or his future mandatory, getting it out of the way, even though he could fight him now, right? And fighting Pianeta instead. Let's look at the other guy, Tyson Fury. He could fight Tyson Fury, because he's not got a fight lined up. Or in fact, he does have a fight lined up, but I'm sure Cunningham wouldn't really mind if he didn't have to fight Tyson Fury, okay? Or let him fight Tyson Fury. Don't fight a warm-up fight, and just fight Povetkin. No one's going to care. What is the point in fighting Pianeta? It's a bad matchup. Who else is there? Alexander Dimitrenko has done more in his career, faced better opposition. Even though he's lost a few fights, he could still be in a good fight with a Klitschko. He's got more chance of beating a Klitschko than Pianeta has, because the first thing I'm drawn to is the better knockout ratio of Dimitrenko and the better experience he's got in fighting. I could even suggest fighting Derek Chisora, because Derek Chisora is better than Pianeta. God, even fight Tony Thompson again if you're so incessant on fighting a warm-up fight. Tony Thompson's coming off a great victory. Fight him again. He's not going to. The point is, he only comes out and fights easy opposition. He's got to change. He's got to fight some good opposition. I want to see him within the next year. In the next 12 months, I want to see Wladimir fighting Povetkin, Pulev, and Fury. Or I'm going to give him. He's got to fight Povetkin and Pulev, and he's got to fight another top 10 rated fighter in that time. In that time, he's got to fight another top 10 rated guy. If he doesn't, then he's totally just milking the belts. It's just stupidness. I don't even want to say I'm going to pull him out of my pound for pound ratings, because just winning fights against bums doesn't make you a pound for pound fighter.